नमस्कार दोस्तों और जय हिंद। आप सभी को स्वागत है इन माय चैनल 1971 वॉर बुक सीरीज। तो दोस्तों, इन द फर्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ आवर वीडियो विद डॉक्टर नुरन नबी, a Mukti Yoddha freedom fighter commander, and Colonel LJS Gill, a paratrooper who had talked about their experiences in the 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War of the Liberation of Tangail. They had spoken about their individual experiences of how Dr. Nurun Nabi helped out the Indian Army in finding drop zones, and how Colonel Gill, as a second lieutenant, had made the jump with all the paratroopers of the 2 para, took part in the action against the Pakistani military. And in the second part of the video, they will both be talking about how the march to Dhaka was continued, including the surrender at Dhaka after the liberation of Tangail. So let's welcome Dr. Nurun Nabi and Colonel LJS Gill to our program today in the second part of our video today.
Tangail town was clear and liberated on the night of 11th. So the whole town was our control, and we arranged the place for Colonel Pannu in the Dak Bungalow, the official residence of the DC and guest house. And as Colonel described, on the same night, a group of Mukti Bahini as well as group of Captain Brigadier San Singh joined that night, moved towards Jaidapur, and from Jaidapur it was divided. Brigadier San Singh brigade went towards Maningganj, towards Mirpur, and Brigadier San Singh brigadier Clear moved towards Tongi. And there was fight on 12, 13, 14. On 15, Major General Nagra came by helicopter to Tangail. Then from Tangail, Qadir Siddiqui joined him, and then he first flew to Brigadier Clear's position. Brigadier Clear briefed him that the fighting stopped. There was no fighting since 14th evening. And so he said Brigadier San Singh's position almost same. Fighting stopped on 14th, and there were several injury in Brigadier San Singh's brigade. So those were sent to Mirzapur. There was a big hospital. I was in Tangail that time, coordinating supplying foods for the Indian paratroopers and Indian other armies, as well as we took care of all those injured, and some of them dead. We took care of them. So on 16th morning, they moved Brigadier San Singh, Brigadier Clear, Qadir Siddiqui, and Lieutenant General Bami. Then he was a major. They moved towards Mirpur Bridge, and they were told that there was an enemy activity from other side. Then they sent a scout to give a message to Lieutenant General Niazi, and Lieutenant General Bamni, then he was Major Staff, Senior Staff Officer of Nagra, told me that Major General Nagra used his notepad, put on this jeep, and then wrote that famous message: "Dear Abdullah, I am here. You surrender. We will take care of you according to Geneva Convention." And the reason he addressed General Niazi as Dear Abdullah, first name, because they were a cadet in British Army. They knew each other, and also when Major General Nagra was a military attaché in Lahore, Pakistan, then Lahore Garrison Commander was General Niazi. So they knew each other. So to make a long story short, that scout with this message went to Mirpur side, Dhaka side of the Mirpur Bridge, and handed over the message. Then General Jamshed communicated with General Niazi, and then Niazi, when approved that the General Nagra and his troop can come inside the cantonment and meeting. And then finally there was also there was some friendly fire, and the scout members were killed.
I would like to know a bit about this Mirpur Bridge incident from Colonel Gill as well. Then we'll go to Dr.
I think
Nurun
he
Nabi
can
as well.
tell you the first
Yes, okay. Now,
information.
what had happened at 167 Brigade, they had contacted Jaidepur defenses. The first attack on Jaidepur Bridge did not succeed because they had a troop of tanks across the river.
Okay.
So our anti-tank weapons were used. On the night of 15th and 16th, the next attack was to go in.
Acha, acha,
We were reserves for that attack.
acha.
But at about 8 o'clock or so, suddenly we were told that we have to switch axes, and 2 para was given buses. Number of buses were given to us, and we moved from this axis cross country, and we went on to Mirpur axis.
Acha, acha, acha.
And there were the 13 guards
Hmm.
of
95
167 Brigade who had suffered very heavy casualty. So at midnight, we took about 3 hours to go over. Then after reaching there, we took over advance from 13 guards, and we started advancing towards Mirpur Bridge. This is night 15th, 16th. 12 o'clock at night, we started advancing. There was artillery fire which came on us around 1:32. At 3 o'clock, we had contacted the Mirpur defenses.
Okay.
There was lot of water on both sides of Mirpur, water bodies. So the early warning elements of the Pakistani defenses, they fired on our leading elements which were advancing. CO decided to halt, dig in, start patrolling, and prepare for an attack on Mirpur Bridge. While all this work was going on, at 9 o'clock in the morning, a helicopter lands. In that helicopter, all these people came, what Dr. Noor is talking about. And when they came, they said that Mohammed Jamshed is coming from Dhaka because a message has been intercepted for surrender by our signal intelligence that from Pakistan, from Rawalpindi, they had got a message that they should plan to surrender. Now, Nirbhay Sharma, that Lieutenant General, he was the adjutant. He carried this chit to the Mirpur defenses. From there, General Jamshed came back along with them in his black Buick car. When they were coming back, our own troops, because they were not informed fully, they opened fire. They opened fire, and Major Sethi from my unit was also in that vehicle. He got hit in the leg. There was a driver of 13 guards. He got killed. There was this Pakistani guy sitting in the second jeep, open jeep, captain. He also got hit. So there were a number of casualties that happened. Now, General Nagra was waiting there. General Nagra and Brigadier San Singh, Brigadier Clare, General Nagra and Jamshed, they had a meeting there. Now, there was a big casualty. Major Sethi had been hit on the left leg. There was below the knee, there was a hole in his leg. Bullets had come and housed in his right thigh. Now, he had to be evacuated immediately. Gangrene was setting in. General Jamshed organized, he said, okay, Nagra's helicopter will take Sethi to Dhaka. The surrender had not happened. So this helicopter took Major Sethi to the Eastern Command headquarters, the hospital in Dhaka.
Of Pakistan Army.
It's Pakistan Army. And General Jamshed had informed that there is a casualty to be treated. But what really happened was that the surgeons in that hospital, they realized that his leg would have to be amputated. So they took a decision that, sorry, we are not able to treat this casualty. So Major Sethi was flown from there, the helicopter, and took him to Guwahati, where his leg was amputated. In the meantime, they had worked out the modalities for Indian Army to go into Dhaka. We were again given, we had some buses with us, and at 11 o'clock, we boarded these buses. CO had entered Dhaka through Mirpur defences. We actually drove through Pakistani defences with Pakistanis there on the Mirpur bridge, where there was jubilation. There was all the Dhaka residents were out on the street. And parallelly, General Jacob, who was Chief of Staff, Eastern Army, had gone to Niazi's office. And that famous, clip where he told Niazi, I give you 30 minutes. He handed over that paper to him. I give you 30 minutes to decide. Initially, Niazi was saying that what the hell we'll do. I'm not privy to that. I'm only what is known to me. So General Jacob told him that I'm standing outside. I give you 30 minutes to make up your mind. And if you don't do that, then Dhaka would be, attacked from all sides, and we'll make a mincemeat out of you guys. Then Niazi realized and he agreed. And by this time, it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We moved into the golf course right opposite the airfield. In Dhaka, that airbase, that airfield which was there, where the Pakistanis were using, right outside that, very close by, was a golf course. My unit 2 para, which was the first unit to enter, we were asked to go into the golf course. And then at 4:25 was the surrender ceremony at the race course. I, along with my platoon and my unit, was 10 meters in front of that table where the surrender document was signed. On my left were these Pakistanis standing there. They laid down their arms. General Niazi's vehicle comes. General Arora comes. General Niazi's car. He gets down. There was a lawyer there who sat on the right side of the table as you look at it. Niazi, then Arora.
I think
then the document, this lawyer.
both of them. Yeah. This picture.
Yeah, this is it. This picture is before the signing of the document. When, he's handing over the pen, if you see.
Right.
He is, General Arora,
Yeah, we see.
Yeah.
he is giving him that pen
This
and the document. There's a lawyer. There's a lawyer sitting here. You can see the lawyer's hand. So this lawyer was carrying a folder
That has
because it was a legal document. And then he kept the thing. Then Niazi, he is taking the pen and to sign. The moment he signed this document, there was a scramble. Firstly, he was arrested. His belt was removed. His pistol was taken. He was placed under arrest. People scrambled to pick up souvenirs. They removed his flag from the car. They removed his star plates from the car. God knows who took that souvenir. It will be worth millions today, isn't it?
Yes.
The tablecloth was taken away. The tablecloth, the pen. I'm told the pen and the pistol. The pistol is lying in Indian Military Academy at Dehradun.
The card is
But
here.
I think the pen was.
The card is here.
Sorry?
The card is at Eastern Command.
The car.
Yeah.
His car is in Eastern Command. Okay.
I've seen it
So
myself.
this is what we witnessed. This is what I have witnessed with just 10 days of service in the army. I saw all this happening. Next day, so at now what happened? After the surrender, the prison camp for the Pakistanis was set up in the university area. Now we were given the job to escort these Pakistanis, prisoners, to give them a free passage. And Dhaka was uncontrollable. The hysteria, the the
Sir,
excitement,
before
the
proceeding to
celebration.
this part, I would like to go to Dr. Nurun Nabi to
Yeah,
the advance up to surrender, and then I'll proceed to
yeah.
you regarding this as well, sir.
All right.
So,
All
sir,
right.
from
Thanks for
Mirpur, yes, sir, from Mirpur to
yes,
Dhaka.
thanks. So, as I mentioned, I was in Tangail.
Hmm.
So what I know, I heard from other participants. I was not there.
Acha.
So my story is almost similar what Colonel Gill described. I heard some inside story which is not yet known to public from Lieutenant General Bammi, who was a senior staff officer of Major General Nagra. He told me that it is now known how Niazi first refused, then he has no option but to agree for surrendering, signing the documents. So what the then Major Bammi told me was that Major General Nagra asked him to organize the surrendering ceremony. That means get a table, chairs, all this furniture. So he asked his staff to get a table and two chairs from nearby Dhaka club. Some people say it's not. It is not Dhaka club. It's from Bongo Bhavan. Anyway, so first his troops brought one table and two chairs on the same size, and he said that a victorious general and defeated general should not share the same size of the chair. He sent his troops to the Dhaka club or Bongo Bhavan to bring two sizes. One is large, another is small. So that's how it was used to sign to complete that ceremony. This is one anecdote he told me. Another was when the Niazi agreed to surrender, still one unit of Pakistani forces across the Tongi River, they were still fighting, they did not surrender. So General Nagra was asked, Major Bammi was asked by General Nagra to go to that unit along with a Pakistani officer and informed them that Pakistani forces have surrendered, they have to surrender. So Major General then Major Bammi, when he was about to get ready to go to Tongi with the Pakistani army officers, then a message came that Begum Mujib, in other words, Bangabandhu's family, his wife, his daughters, stayed in a Pakistani guarded house. They did not surrender yet, and they were staying in a mode to fight back. So then General Nagra asked Bami, don't go to Tongi, you go rather with a famous guy, I forgot his name, to go to Bangabandhu's house and rescue his family. So Major Bami, instead of going to Tongi, he went to Ashok, Major
Colonel
Ashok,
Ashok Tara. Colonel Ashok
Colonel
Tara.
Ashok.
14
See,
guards.
Ashok Tara,
Yeah.
14
Colonel
guards.
14 guards.
yeah,
Yes.
Ashok Tara, Ashok Tara.
Bangabandhu's families to rescue them. Then another army officer, Indian army officer and a Pakistani army officer who went to Tongi and tried to convince that unit to surrender. They did not agree and they fired upon these two officers, and two officers were killed, the Pakistani officers and Indian officers. So Major Bami told me that he is the luckiest guy, that if he would go to that Tongi Pakistani unit, then possibly he would have been killed.
I think Colonel Tara
so-
went on the next day.
No. This is there. slightly different than this. What
Might be
happened
because
here?
it's
Okay, I will tell you.
third person.
We entered from Mirpur.
Mm-hmm.
The battle was going on Tungi side also.
Mm-hmm.
When we entered, I told you that the casualties happened when Jamshed Jang and this party was going. My own unit had fired on our own troops.
Mm-hmm.
The Tungi axis, the battle was still going on.
Mm-hmm.
So General Nagra asked his ADC, Captain Mehta. His ADC was Captain Mehta. He asked him that you go along the Tungi axis from Dhaka. Now they are going from Dhaka to Tungi.
Yes.
Along with that, one Pakistani captain was also given and a Pakistani vehicle was given to them. They put up a white flag and they went towards Tungi. Now, 13 Sikh Alai, they had suffered very heavily at Jaidepur and then recaptured and moved to Tungi. These people were absolutely, anyway, they were not informed. The problem was this fog of war, excitement of the way things happened so rapidly, nobody had informed the units that the surrender had taken place. They sent this vehicle along with Mehta and that Pakistani officer from Dhaka towards Tungi. So when they were going there, these guys opened up with a magazine. Mehta was sitting on the left side. He got out of the vehicle. His body was perforated with over 100 bullets. It was like a mesh. So we lost Mehta. Earlier we had Sethi as a casualty, that driver dying as a casualty with friendly fire, and now we have a friendly fire taking care of the ADC to General Nagra. So Mehta was slaughtered there that day. This happened around midday. All they had to do was to inform all the units that surrender has happened. But this information was not uniformly sent. And I can say it very clearly today, and I felt everyone at that moment wanted to become part of history. Everyone wanted. I was a second lieutenant. I was watching all this happen. All this has happened because everybody forgot about what they were doing. They got involved in what was happening and the way it was happening. They wanted to be part of history.
It is.
And all of them, they are part of history. We are talking about them, no?
Yes, yes.
They got documented in history, General Nagra, and the basic problem was the headquarters of General Nagra, headquarters of 95 Brigade of General Brigadier Clare. It was their responsibility to inform everybody that ceasefire has to happen. It is called stand down.
Stand down.
We call it stand to and stand down. A stand down order had to be given, and then hold your position but stand down. That means no offensive action is to be taken. This was not done. All these chaos and this had happened because I told you what was happening became more important than what they were doing. This development was so sudden. Imagine we were to attack that night. We were planning for an attack on Mirpur on night of 16th and 17th. We are patrolling, we are planning, we are putting our guns in position, and all of a sudden it comes that no, there is ceasefire to happen.
Yes.
So it was the fog of war, it was the situational condition where history was getting made. It was history in the making, and a history of a making of such a kind which has never happened in the history of warfare.
Yeah, yeah. This paratroops landing was the largest after the Second World War.
Right.
Yes.
So a lot of
And
historical
never
things
thereafter, and never thereafter.
never thereafter. Yes, I agree.
So,
So if you, since the title of this our conversation is role of paratroops landing in
Yes.
1971
And the
war,
role of
if
Mukti
you allow
Bahini.
me, I can. Yeah, a role of
Of
Mukti
course, that.
Bahini. I mean, the role of paratroops. It comes with the Mukti Bahini. So, if you allow me, I can share
Please do, sir.
you my rationale. My analysis was that these paratroops landing in this book, it is written that part of winning strategy
Hmm.
in this book, chapter 17, which is true because of these paratroops landing in Tangail. It was only 500 paratroops led by Colonel and Pandu and young officer, Lieutenant, Second Lieutenant Colonel, now Colonel retired
I mean, the
Gill.
two para I think
So
was of the such number. There
yeah,
are more troops.
why it is so important? When paratroops was landed in Tangail, on that evening, Major General Jacob, who is to my knowledge, first and last Jewish general in Indian Army. He was the second in command of GOC, Lieutenant General Aurora. He organized a press conference in Kolkata that Dhaka is a surrounded city. We have dropped 5,000 paratroops around Dhaka city. And to convince the reporter, international and national reporter, he distributed print copy of paratroops, 5,000 paratroops are landing. He distributed because there was no video that time, and not internet that in a second you can send across the world. That was not the situation. So he distributed printed photos of paratroops landing, and those photos were true. And what were they? In summer, the Indian paratroops practice a landing exercise in Delhi or
I
somewhere
think
near Delhi.
Agra.
And the raw chief, he took those printed picture and distributed to the media that 5,000 paratroops has landed around Dhaka. Dhaka is a surrounded city. I was learned later that even Major General Jacob did not know the truth of those photographs. Only this raw director he knew that what are those. So that's how Niazi had a psychological pressure that Dhaka is a surrounded city and he has no other option. Of course, there are other information. I know there is Field Marshal Manekshaw's message, Hatiyar Dal Do. So all this
Yes.
makes help Niazi to make a decision to surrender. So why Pakistani believe that? Because they have no internal communication, no air force, no intelligence that the whether paratroops landing in Tangail, their number is 500, and the propaganda Major General Jacob say 5,000. He has no clue what is the right thing. And moreover, Pakistani army, they fell the trap of Indian Army's propaganda. And strategy was that I heard all this from Major Bammi, later Lieutenant General Bammi, that Pakistani was led to believe that Dhaka will be captured from eastern sector. That's why Indian Army deployed 3 divisions of Indian Army
On that
as well
side.
as 3 brigades of freedom fighters, Z Force, S Force, A Force.
All on the eastern side, right,
And
sir?
also the distance from the Komila border is very short towards Dhaka compared to Jashore or Mymensingh
District, right.
border. So when the Pakistani saw the deployment of these allied forces, three
Four corps.
divisions of
And three
four
divisions.
of Indian Army as well as 4 brigade of freedom fighters, they believe that the Dhaka will be captured through eastern faction. Pakistan also deployed their maximum strength, and Colonel knows better than me that there was a serious fight in this sector, and there was casualties in both groups, both Pakistani as well as Allied forces. While fighting is going on in eastern sector, then just one paratroops, one battalion of paratroops, 500 in strength, they landed in Tangail, which is about 100 miles north of capital Dhaka, and that led to believe that Dhaka is a surrounded city by paratroops. So the occupation of Dhaka or liberation of Dhaka with minimum casualty or no casualties, is this credit goes to paratroops landing in Tangai. That is my analysis of the importance and roles of paratroops landing in Tangail in December 11, and also as a freedom fighters group. That is also a credit to our group in Tangail Mukti Bahini, headed by Kadir Siddiqui, and I had the opportunity to play a small role.
All right, I was saying that the importance, besides what his analysis and understanding is, the use of airborne forces is done to achieve few things. One is to enhance the pace of the battle. Second is to impact the morale and psychology of the enemy, because he does not know where you have gone. He does not know how to find you, locate you. And secondly, just see this. Had the paratroopers not been used, it would have taken another 10 to 15 days of battle to reach Dhaka. So it actually hastens up, speedens up, gives you momentum on the battlefield. Beside the psychological impact, like he said, uh, it was not 500, it was 1100 people who were dropped, doctor. And you were also 21-year-old. I was also 21 at that time. So we were at the same level. So we have 1100 people dropped. So the airborne forces are used for psychological impact, for galvanizing and in rapidly giving rapid increase to the momentum of the battle on the ground. And third is you divide and and decimate the combat and command potential of the enemy. Here is a full 93 brigade of the enemy, 31 Baluch leading. Can you imagine 5,000 people in that brigade? Just in one go, their entire cohesion, their command and control, their combat potential, and they were able to fight at Jaidepur, then fall back Tangail, then Jaidepur, then Tungi, and then Dhaka. All these three lines on which they had to fight, they were neutralized at Tangail only. So, combat potential of 5,000 people who were to fight for next 15 days was destroyed in one night. This is what the airborne forces do. And the enemy is, or even if he came to know you have been dropped, but he does not know where you have gone.
Right.
That is why he drove with his convoy onto the bridge.
Surrender.
Isn't it? Because he didn't know after dropping where you could have gone. And his people, and look at the psychological impact. The platoon or the company that was deployed on the bridge, they vacated their bunkers and they ran away towards. So, it is a force multiplier. It is a combat enhancing tool. And General Inder Gill, who was the DMO in Delhi, he is a paratrooper himself.
World War II.
General Jagjit Arora, paratrooper himself. So they were specialists, they knew how that is why it was planned. So also look at at the strategic level what was happening. The Russians had asked you to complete the operation by Christmas. And they will not be able to hold on to the ceasefire resolution in the Security Council for too long, because there was diplomatic work going on in the Security Council. The Russians were not able to give you more time. They themselves were surprised that they expected by Christmas we would complete the job. It got completed 10 days before that.
10 days, right.
So it was actually, in many ways, it was a master stroke. The world got surprised that look what has been achieved in such a short span of time, and imagine what would have it cost in terms of national resources to fight a war for another 10 days. How many more people would have died? How much of more loss would have happened? This is one small force in the entire theater enabled and propelled the war at such a rapid pace that 10 days of war effort was saved. And consequently, how many more people would have died? How much of loss of equipment? How much of and what scenario would have prevailed thereafter? Who knows? This is what it is.
So
This
that's
is
what,
advantage.
yeah, that's what I say, that Dhaka was liberated with no bloodshed or minimum bloodshed because of this strategic decision of dropping one
Dropping the
battalion
paratroop.
paratroops
Yes.
in Tangail, and Colonel Gill and I was luckiest one of the fighters that we participated in this
See,
operation.
1100 were dropped, but Pakistanis were seeing that feeling, and they had assessed about 5,000 had been dropped.
Yes,
Yeah.
They were 100 kilometers away from Dhaka,
Yeah.
but they felt Dhaka is surrounded.
yes,
Can you imagine the psychological condition of that commander,
Yeah.
Abdullah Niazi?
yes, yes.
What will I do? Otherwise, imagine in the normal course, they would have started slaughtering the civilians in Dhaka when the battle was spilling into Dhaka.
And also credit goes to Major General Jacob for
Of course,
his
yes.
strategy, because I heard from Lieutenant General Bammi that original plan by General Manek, Field Marshal Manekshaw was occupy three parts of Bangladesh and stop, and then through negotiation liberate Pakistan, Bangladesh, made Bangladesh. But General Jacob may had another plan. He told Major General, Lieutenant General Aurora that I have another plan. When he got this General Field Marshal Manekshaw's plan, he said, I have another plan. Then Aurora asked him, what is that? Do you know? If your plan failed, if you disobey the plan of the commander-in-chief, then you will have court-martial. And he said, what is your plan? Then he explained to him that I keep in contact. I kept in contact with Tangail Mukti Bahini since the beginning. I trained them. I supplied them arms and ammunition. They have kept Tangail district completely liberated. I want to drop one battalion paratroops now. I know the exact number, 1100 paratroops in Tangail. And then while fighting is going on in eastern sector, then this force will arrive in Dhaka or close to Dhaka without much fighting. And Aurora said, it's good plan, but you have to be sure that it is successful. Otherwise, you will face court-martial. So these are the conversation
Okay.
between two generals, Aurora and Jacob. So credit also goes to Jacob. That
Let me amplify
Jacob-
this a bit. Let me amplify this bit more.
Okay.
Yes, these plans are made. They are constantly altered depending on the way progress happens.
Yes.
Imagine what would have happened, because there is diplomatic level, international level things are also happening. Had the first plan of reaching up to a point and then negotiating, and the ceasefire order would have happened there, and we would have created a Kashmir-like situation in Bangladesh.
Yes.
It would have been divided into two. and matter sitting in UN, liberation would have never happened of Dhaka.
Never.
Never happened of, a country could never have emerged out of it, Bangladesh. While you have a plan, but the plan keeps changing depending on the situation, time, and things like that. So the first plan, initial plan to do this was a plan, but later, as the situation unfolded, then if the ceasefire had come and you had not taken over Dhaka, then you would have
You were
had
stuck there.
three-fourths of it was stuck there. Internationally, UN intervention, the matter have gone to the UN, and the resolution would have been passed, and there would have been peacekeeping force deployed here. On the
And that would have been, I think, disastrous. I mean, most
Of
of
course.
the Mukti Bahini people,
no,
No,
disastrous for everyone.
everybody, yeah.
You would have had disasters for Bangladesh because it wouldn't have been formed. Half the people.
if that plan, the first plan, if we executed, then Bangladesh would never
Never have formed.
get
Never have been
independence.
formed.
Yeah.
So in fact, there are many incidents when, if we, another occasion, I shall share with you many things that happened on this front. There was a heliborne operation that was planned by General Sagat. And based on the first initial thinking, he was asked not to launch that heliborne operation. It was across Meghna River.
Mhm.
He told General Arora, I will cancel this over my dead body. I will do it. It was also linked to the same situation. Had he not done that, had this airborne not been put the way it was put in the first plan, had he not done the heliborne operation, you would have never reached Dhaka in this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are a number of things. Military minds, military plans, the strategy has many, many dimensions to it.
Yeah, depending on the reality of the field.
Field.
To change your
And the
plan.
other thing is, no plan on the battlefield ever goes as per what you have planned.
Exactly. I just
You
would like.
make a plan, you make three plans, ultimately you end up on the battlefield delivering the fourth one.
Yes.
Because you plan, it's only a plan, but the reality has something else to deliver to you. So these are all the variables, these are all the part of military strategy, military planning, and you are flexible, you keep changing, because you say, all right, the enemy will be able to, you make a plan, I will get delayed for 2 days here. Enemy, I'll have to fight him for 2 days. Suddenly you find like that Guards battalion at Heli, the Battle of Heli. Look what happened at Heli.
Almost 1 month they were stuck there.
Yes,
A lot of
Battle
people
of Heli.
Yeah.
Lot of people
lot
died,
of
hundreds died there.
Yeah, casualties on both sides.
So you make a plan based on assumption because you don't know everything about the enemy, no? You don't know anything about the terrain. As your plan keeps unfolding, you hit into the ground realities and the imponderables that happen, and then you keep changing the plan. It's like a game of chess.
Yeah.
Chess, no?
Exactly.
You move here, your opponent, you do not know what your opponent is planning and thinking till the time you contact him, no? When you contact him, then it gets revealed. इसके पास तो ये भी है, ये सोच रहा है. This move he is making. So it's too serious a business and too complicated a business war, you know.
Yes.
It doesn't come easy. Yeah.
Yes.
Super.
So it
What an
was
interaction.
it was nice to talking to you. I knew a lot of information in detail. I heard it from different sources, but this is the first-hand information. And thank you again for your contribution for the
thank
liberation
you
of
to Mukti
Bangladesh.
Bahini's efforts as well for this entire operation. I mean,
It
commendable.
is-
Nothing would have happened without the contribution and effort of Mukti Bahini. Mukti Bahini on the ground, they may not be very proficient soldiers, but they created the turf.
yes.
They created the turf. They created the ecosystem for combat forces to deliver. They provided you information. They provided you guidance. They created chaos within the system where the Pakistanis. So they were a thorn in the flesh. Always.
And also look at me. I was so young. I had to carry so many important responsibility at
And you are a
the risk of my
biochemistry student,
life.
I guess, sir. Not even a professional
Yes, I
soldier.
was a final year student of biochemistry. Like me, hundreds, thousands of young people, they to risk their life and participated in the Liberation War, and we made our country an independent country with the help of Indian Army. I express my gratitude when I met 26 Indian Army officer in Delhi last summer. Also, I met 6 of them in Guwahati. I visited those places in Tura and Mankachar, and I felt nostalgic. Those are the places I traveled for the sake of my country. And Colonel, thank you again. I salute you and
Thank you. Thank you,
your-
Dr. Nurun. It's such a pleasure interacting with you. I did not know so many things. I didn't know that you had briefed me the other day. I didn't know that you were under the bridge when link up took place. I didn't
Yes.
know that you had a champagne. And I was in the front line. I
Yes.
was there when I didn't know all these details till today.
Even Major Bambi told me that we were there, we bumped each other, but we did not know. So it was from my book, Bullets of 71. He saw it internet, and then he contacted me. He collected the book, read it, and he said we were there, but we did not know each other.
And I think we should thank Dave also for having put all these pieces together
Yes.
to really make a complete board out of it, and then fill it up with some interesting and factual details. All
Okay,
right then,
thank you.
take care.
All right, sir.
Thank
Have a
you.
lovely
Bye
day.
bye.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Dave.
Bye.